Hello chess enthusiasts, my name is Miha and welcome to my chessrealm YouTube channel. So Tata Steel tournament in Vaikanze has begun. Let's go to the first round, duel between Domarayo Gukesh, better known as Gukesh D, and Liren Dink. Let's see what happened. Gukesh D had white pieces and he started with D4, knight to F6, C4, E6, knight to F3, B6, and we have Queen's Indian defense. White plays G3, fianchetto variation, black responded bishop to A6, targeting this pawn on C4, white defends with B3, bishop to B4 check, white defends with bishop to D2, bishop goes back to E7, pretty much everything according to the theory, and of course bishop to G2, normal developed move. Moves followed, black castles king side and white does the same, and now black tries the center with D5 and white responds with knight to C3. Of course, black can grab this pawn on c4 if d pawn captures, b pawn recaptures, bishop recaptures. Of course, black is a pawn up after knight to e5. This bishop is under attack, and also this rook on a5. Of course, black can defend bishop to e5 after the exchange here for a sacrifice pawn. White has a very fine game. So in the game, black plays 6-6, further reinforcing this pawn on d5. White responds with bishop goes to f4. Again, you might think that this pawn on c4 is for free, but if d pawn captures, b pawn recaptures. If bishop recaptures, first bishop captures on b8. If rook recaptures, we have knight to e5, threatening knight to c6, forking both queen and rook, and also attacking this bishop on c4. And if a black defends with bishop to b5, of course a4, driving this bishop away, and white is much better. So in the game, black plays knight from b goes to d7. Now bishop cannot capture on b8 anymore, so white simply gets rid of this unpleasant c pawn captures on d5. Of course, black has 3 chances of recapturing. All chances are playable, but black has decided to capture with e-pawn, so e-pawn captures on d5. And now we have some redeployment of the knights. Knight goes to e1. Black plays rook to e8, knight to d3, and now knight to f8, preparing to deploy it on e6. White plays bishop to b5, and of course black plays knight to e6, targeting this pawn on d4, also attacking this bishop. Of course, black cannot defend both, but if white plays bishop to e3, then this knight to g4, threatening with doubling this pawn on the e file is quite unpleasant. So white more or less has no other options but to capture this knight on f6. So bishop captures on f6, bishop recaptures, pawn on d4 is twice attacked. So white defends with e3. And here black employs a very simple tactic. Knight goes to c5. We have double attack on this knight on d3. It cannot be defended again, so white more or less has no other option but to capture knight on c5. And now of course bishop captures defenseless knight on c3, attacking the rook on a1. Rook goes to c1, targeting this bishop. Well, of course black would remove the bishop, but if let's say bishop goes back to f6 after queen to c2, white puts a lot of pressure here on this pawn on c6 and also gets the semi-open c file. So in the game, black further defends the bishop with queen to f6, white plays queen to c2, double attack on this bishop on c3, so black further defends with d4, and also this pin on this knight targeting this rook is quite unpleasant. But for the time being, white first gets rid of this hanging c pawn, so c pawn captures on b6, a pawn recaptures, and now rook from f goes to d1, getting away of this pin, taking over the semi-open d file. Black releases the tension with rook from a goes to d8, counteracting on this rook on d1, and white continues with e pawn captures on d4 and bishop recaptures. Now let's see where we are. The material is equal. Black has a bishop pair targeting this king on g1, and white has to be very careful because if, for example, white plays a random move, let's say a3, simply bishop captures on d3. Of course, if queen recaptures, bishop captures on f2, it's check, and also this queen is under attack. So in this position, white would have to capture with rook, but then again we would have queen captures on f2, check, king would queen would recapture, bishop captures with check, after king recaptures, rook recaptures, and black is exchanged and a pawn up. Of course, white could try with bishop captures on c6, gaining this pawn, attacking this rook, but maybe white was afraid of this rook to c8, pinning this bishop to the queen. Not a very easy position to calculate, actually. Anyway, in the game, white has decided to play knight goes to f4, blocking this queen, preventing from targeting this pawn on f2. And black immediately drives this knight away. g5 was played, attacking the knight. Knight goes to h5, attacking the queen on f6. Queen goes to h6, attacking this knight. Well, knight doesn't have actually any good square, so bishop goes to f3, defending this knight on h5. And now black plays c5. First of all, protecting this bishop on d4, but more importantly, clearing this c6 square, preparing this bishop to b7, preparing to take over this long diagonal. Let's say white makes a random move, let's say a3. We have simply g4 targeting this bishop. Of course, bishop has to capture if he wants to protect this knight on h5, and then black will simply play bishop to b7, taking over this d file, and that would be very, very unpleasant. So in the game, white plays g4, blocking this pawn on g5, preventing this g4 pawn push. Black responds with f5. Of course, pawn cannot capture because this g4 pawn push is still a valid threat. So in the game, white retreats the knight to g3. Pawn from f5 captures pawn on g4, attacking this bishop. Of course, bishop can capture, but then, like I said, bishop to b7 is quite unpleasant, threatening queen to c6, threatening with checkmate here, either g2 or h1. Of course, with bishop to h3, white can defend g2 and also h1 square, but this is very, very passive, just waiting for black to deliver the final blow. So in the game, in this position, white plays knight goes to f5, attacking queen on h6, and black responds queen to f6. When this knight is gone, this bishop is for free and it's also attacked, so bishop goes to e4, further defending this knight on f5. And black continues with h5, preparing this unpleasant pawn store on the king's side with a deadly attack. White continues with b4, trying to undermine the defender of this bishop on d4, but also threatening either, let's say, some sort of check. And of course, black has to be careful, because if, for example, c-pawn captures on b4, white can, of course, capture this bishop on d4, who is twice protected, that's true, but let's say knight captures on d4, rook recaptures, rook recaptures, and after queen recaptures, white clears this e4 square with bishop to c6, attacking this rook on d8, and after, for example, let's say rook to d8, queen to g6, and we have all sorts of perpetual checks patterns. So here white definitely gains a draw here. So in the game, black doesn't capture this pawn on b4. Instead, black plays king to f8, avoiding this immediate check here on g6. Well, here in this position, white should have continue the game with this a4 pawn push, because at a4, if black would continue the attack with h4, white would simply play b5, attacking this bishop on a6. Of course, if bishop goes to b7, then of course this square is protected, and the only move now is bishop to c8. And now white will be able to capture this bishop on d4. Let's say c-pawn recaptures. We have a5 attacking pawn on b6. If pawn recaptures, then we have b6. If queen captures, bishop goes to c6, attacking the rook. And if black removes the rook to e7, we can queen to g6. Again, white gets to harass black king, and this would be very unpleasant for black. In the game, however, white saw the things a little differently. a3 was played, defending this pawn on b4, while black continues with the attack. h4 was played, preparing this g3, targeting this pawn on f2, who is also attacked by this bishop. White continues with rook to e1, further defending this bishop here on e4, but here Black finds a spectacular tactics. Black plays rook captures on e4, sacrificing the exchange. Of course, white has two options of recapturing it. Let's see if rook captures on e4, simply bishop to d3, targeting both king and the rook. And if queen captures, bishop captures on f2. We have check and discover attack on the queen. So in the game, white has decided to capture rook with the queen. And of course, black continues again with this stunning move. Bishop goes to b3. Of course, if queen captures, bishop to f2 check. Even if king captures, rook captures, this knight is going to b4. Black simply has decisive material advantage. So in the game, white continues with queen to f6, queen captures, a6, queen captures on e6, rook recaptures, and now bishop captures defenseless knight on f5. So what we have two bishops versus one rook. Two bishops are naturally more powerful. In the game that followed, rook captures here on b6, and black continues with g3. Of course, pawn cannot capture because it's pinned by this bishop, so h-pawn captures on g3. H-pawn recaptures. There isn't much white can do. If white gets this king out of the pin, simply bishop drives it away. Anyway, there are so many winning options here in the game that followed. B-pawn captures on c5, and now bishop goes to h3. Now white king indeed cannot go anywhere, and also this f1 square is protected. Black threatens with bishop captures here on f2, and also white cannot push this pawn on c6 because then black captures rook. Even if, let's say, rook goes to h6, targeting this bishop on h3, simply g-pawn captures on f2 check, king goes to h2, and simply f-pawn promotes. Even if white captures, bishop recaptures, white simply has decisive material advantage. Anyway, in this position, Gukesh realized there's no point in playing on and resigned the game. So I hope you like this game. I hope you have learned something from it. If you have any questions, my email is below in the description. Of course, I invite you to visit my Instagram page. That's it for now, and see you soon.